It began with a wheel, strapped to a cart and pulled by a horse. What seemed like a humble invention sparked a revolution on the battlefield. The chariot wasn't just a tool of war, it was the blueprint for innovation. From this simple art, humankind leaped forward, crafting technologies that would transform warfare forever. But how did the chariot lead us from rudimentary tactics to armies of unmatched complexity? Let's journey through the evolution of war and uncover the innovations that shaped the fate of empires. In the 3rd millennium BC, long before the invention of the chariot as we know it, warfare in southern Mesopotamia was already taking shape in ways that would lay the foundations for military strategy. The city-states of South Mesopotamia gave us the first evidence of disciplined heavy infantry formations. Imagine a time when battles were fought with fists and weapons were inspired by the tools of survival, like bones or sharpened rocks from a fresh kill. Now picture this. In these early armies, someone had a groundbreaking idea to harness the power of animals for war. Enter the crude precursor of the chariot, massive wooden charts with solid wheels, drawn by donkeys. These charts were heavy and awkward, but they were revolutionary. They were essentially mobile firing platforms, an idea immortalized in an illustrations found on a lyre from the royal cemetery of Ur, dating from around 2600–2000 BC. The design was simple, yet innovative. The donkeys, some ordinary, others now extinct, larger breeds, were yoked and controlled with reins threaded through a ring. 2 men drove these vehicles. One handled the reins, while the other wielded a spear or axe, ready to strike. A quiver filled with spears was mounted on the front of the cart, hinting at their offensive potential. But were these early war machines effective? With 4 massive solid wheels, they were heavy and slow, and the donkeys themselves were vulnerable. It's likely these vehicles were used more for transporting troops or supplies rather than for swift maneuvers in battle. Still, they mark the beginning of humanity's effort to merge mobility and firepower, a quest that would culminate centuries later in the chariots that dominated ancient battlefields. These developments in chariot warfare reshaped fundamentally the balance of power in the ancient world. The lighter, the maneuverable chariots with spoke wheels allowed armies to move faster and strike with precision. After that, the invention of the composite bow with its incredible range and power elevated the chariot to more than just a mode of transport. It became a platform for long-range devastation. But this leap in warfare came at a cost. Chariot armies required a massive infrastructure. Horses had to be bred, trained and cared for. Skilled charioteers and bowmen needed rigorous preparation, and blacksmiths, armorers and craftsmen were essential for maintaining the equipment. On the battlefield and in the field camps, entire teams were dedicated to repairing broken chariots and caring for reserve horses. For the great powers of the time, chariots were more than just weapons. They were status symbols, a tangible display of military might. Egypt, the Hittites and the Assyrians became masters of the chariot warfare, turning their armies into mobile, highly coordinated forces capable of protecting power over vast territories. By the 16th century BC, Egypt had perfected the system, combining their vast human and material resources with the strategic use of flight chariots and composite bows. The Egyptians built an army capable of dominating their neighbors. This newfound strength transformed Egypt from a defensive state into an aggressive empire builder. One of the most famous examples of Egypt's chariot-led campaigns came under Pharaoh Thutmose III. Around 1485 BC, his path to expansion was blocked by a coalition of city-states near Megiddo, a key point controlling access to southern Syria. Thutmose's solution? Speed, strategy, and relentless force. Moving quickly, he caught the defenders by surprise, trapping them in the city. After a grueling 7-month siege, the defenders surrendered, giving Egypt control over the region. This battle was more than just a victory. It was a testament to the power of chariot warfare. It demonstrated how mobility, firepower, and logistics could combine to secure dominance, paving the way for Egypt to expand its influence further into the Levant. In doing so, Thutmose III set the standard for ancient military campaigns with the chariot at its heart. The evolution of chariots did not stop with basic models. It progressed into more specialized design like smaller two-wheeled rideable chariots. Clay models preserved from antiquity revealed their lightweight structure, which allowed for greater maneuverability. These war chariots remain somewhat of a mystery. We can only speculate how they were used in battle, yet their very existence speaks volumes about humanity's relentless pursuit of military innovation, a cycle of resource-intensive arms development that continues to this day. The Egyptians were among the masters of chariot warfare, and their mastery was on full display during the Battle of Megiddo. At critical moments, Egyptian chariots were unleashed like a storm, tearing through the opposing coalition ranks. The chariot's purpose was clear: to disrupt and destroy enemy infantry formations with a decisive charge. Once the tide of battle shifted, their role didn't stop there. They transitioned to relentless pursuit, cutting down retreating forces and ensuring the enemy's defeat. But the mastery of chariot warfare wasn't Egypt's alone. The Hittite Empire, centered in modern-day Turkey, emerged as a formidable challenger to Egyptian dominance. In the year 1274 BC, Pharaoh Ramses II led his forces to Syria to confront the Hittites at the city of Kadesh, a key stronghold blocking Egypt's northern expansion. What followed was one of the most iconic battles of the ancient world, a clash of thousands of chariots. The largest recorded chariot battle in history. The Hittites struck first, launching a surprise assault with their chariots that overwhelmed the initial Egyptian forces. Chaos erupted as the Egyptian lines faltered, and Ramses himself narrowly avoided disaster. The tide only turned with the timely arrival of a second Egyptian army, reinforcing Ramses' battered forces. What began as a near defeat transformed into a brutal stalemate. Both sides suffered heavy losses. Their once proud chariot division was left in shambles. Ultimately, the Battle of Kadesh ended not with conquest, but with compromise. After years of hostilities, Egypt and the Hittites agreed to a historic non-aggression pact, one of the earliest recorded peace treaties in history. This treaty marked the beginning of a new era in diplomacy, even as it underscored the limits of chariot warfare in deciding the fate of empires. From Megiddo to Kadesh, the chariot provided its might as both a weapon of terror and a tool of strategy. Yet these battles also highlighted the challenges of relying on such expertise and resource-intensive war machines. The golden age of the chariot was glorious, but it was only a chapter in the ever-evolving story of military technology. The Persian Empire brought new lethality to the battlefield with their innovation of scythe chariots. These terrifying machines, armed with sharp iron blades that jutted out from their axles, were designed to slice through enemy formations, spreading chaos and fear. According to the Greek historian Xenophon, these scythed chariots were introduced by Cyrus the Great, though earlier accounts, such as those from Ctesias of Cnidus, suggest they may have been predated his reign. Interestingly, similar chariots are mentioned in Indian texts describing the campaigns of the Mauryan Empire under King Ajatashatru. This raises the tantalizing question: did the Persians borrow the concept from India, or was it the other way around? The answer remains lost to history, but the impact of these war machines is undeniable. Cyrus the Younger, a Persian prince and general, relied heavily on scythed chariots in his military campaigns during the 5th century BC. Yet this time, the chariot's days as a dominant force in warfare were numbered. The Battle of Gaugamela in the year 331 BC marked a turning point. Facing the army of Alexander the Great, the Persians unleashed their scythed chariots in a desperate bid to break the Macedonian lines. But Alexander's troops adapted quickly, breaking ranks to let the chariots pass harmlessly through before regrouping to attack them from behind. It was a devastating tactical blow to the Persians and signaled the decline of chariots as effective battlefield tools. Meanwhile, in Northern Europe, the Celts continued to innovate with their own use of chariots. By the 3rd century BC, Celtic warriors employed two-horse chariots, not just as a transport but as a dynamic tools of war. In battle, the charioteer would expertly maneuver the vehicle, allowing the warrior to hurl spears into the enemy ranks before dismounting to engage in close combat. much like the Homeric heroes of ancient Greece. Julius Caesar, during his campaign in Britannia in 55 and 54 BC, provided a vivid account of British chariot warfare. He described how the Britons used their chariots to disrupt enemy formations with a combination of psychological warfare, the noise of wheels and the terror of charging horses, and of course, tactical precision. After breaking the enemy ranks, the warriors would leap from their chariots to fight on foot, turning the vehicles into mobile platforms for rapid attack. However, as warfare evolved, the effectiveness of chariots diminished. The Roman legions, with their disciplined formations and adaptability, were able to counter these attacks. At the Battle of Mons Graupius in 83 AD, Tacitus described the dramatic scene of Celtic chariots and cavalry charging across the battlefield. Yet, the outcome was clear. The Roman army's superior coordination overwhelmed the Celtic forces. The chariots, once symbols of mobility and terror, were no match for Rome's well-trained infantry. By the time of the Roman Empire, the chariot's role had shifted from a weapon of war to a spectacle of entertainment in arenas and races, a far cry from its once dominant position on the battlefield. Yet its legacy endures, a testament to humanity's ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of power in the art of war. This continuation ties together the decline of chariot warfare while emphasizing its cultural and military significance across different civilizations. From the earliest crude carts of Mesopotamia to the sighted chariots of Persia and finally to the ceremonial arenas of Rome, the chariot's journey through history mirrors humanity's endless drive for innovation in warfare. Though its days on the battlefield are long gone, the chariot remains a powerful symbol of ingenuity, strategy, and the shifting tides of empires. If you enjoyed exploring the rise and fall of the chariot and its impact on history, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're passionate about history, like I am, from ancient battles to modern warfare, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you will never miss an episode. Together we'll uncover the stories that shaped the world. Thank you. Bye.